confidentiality actually mean at number 5?
Yeah, so at number 5 it means, bar a few exceptions which we will go on and talk about later, we will not repeat what is told to us to parents, teachers or doctors, and those same rules apply as well in the schools we're in. So for example, we work in a few local schools in Reading, and even if the students who are in those schools were speaking with a number 5 counsellor in the school, the same thing applies. You won't tell teachers, parents or doctors, and then there are exceptions to it which we will talk about as we go on. What were your thoughts around confidentiality when you were in counselling?
Well, I think first of all, I wasn't entirely sure like what the counsellor had to like tell other people. I had counselling like in school with a school counsellor, so I wasn't sure like, for example, would the counsellor have to tell any teachers? I think that might be a useful question that like young people want to know.
Yeah, in school counselling. So I think in school counselling is slightly different to, for example, number 5 or maybe private practice.
Sure.
I can understand why it's a concern, because if you tell a teacher something, they have a different responsibility, maybe to tell parents or to report it.
Yeah.
Counselling is still slightly different in that sense. I think it's still important to recognise that schools might have their own policies, so it might be a bit different. But a counsellor's time when they can break confidentiality, there are a few reasons for it. Now, there are times where they have to, but they are, if you tell what's going on in your day or some issue that you may have with a friend, it's not going to then just get told. So sort of the main reasons for confidentiality to be broken is if you're in danger or someone else is in danger, and then if there's 3 laws if they're broken, which are terrorism, drug trafficking and money laundering.
Oh, okay.
So,
I didn't know that one. Yeah.
so if those things are met, then the counsellor is obliged to report. Also, if you're in danger or someone else is in danger still, and whatever may fall under that, which is obviously a bit bigger of a scope, but I think still clear, they are obliged to report that. And I think with confidentiality, what's important is to express the limitations straight up. In initial contracting, make sure that the young person, whoever is being counselled, knows what the limitations are, so that they understand what the boundaries are and they make an informed choice, basically, in what they want to share and what they may not want to share.
Yeah, sure. That's really interesting. Okay. I think, obviously, like in counselling, a young person might talk a lot about their life and like the stressful things that are going on in their life. So, like, I think one of the biggest things sometimes is like family. So, I don't know, what happens if someone just has a really stressful home life?
Well, I think it comes down to, is there present danger for the young person?
Okay.
I think if there is, I think also with confidentiality as well, it's important to say that I think in the profession we will do our best to inform the client first.
Yeah, sure.
It may not always be possible, depending on maybe more the extreme situations.
Yeah.
But for example, if we're in a room together and you can find something, and I think, okay, this is something that may need to be reported, I would express that to the client.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that looking for their permission, depending on what it is, but to be candid and to be congruent about, okay, this is what needs to happen because of these reasons.
Yeah.
I have never yet had to report anything confidentiality, and lots of people told me lots about their family problems.
Sure.
So I think in general, it can be a place where people can express quite freely what's going on. But yeah, like I said, if they're in danger or if someone else is in danger, in those sort of scenarios is when it becomes a bit more pressing if it's something that needs to be reported.
Okay.
I think again, like this is something I would say at the start of the allocated sessions. Number 5, we have 20 weeks, so that's at the start. And in my own practice, it's in my contracting of this is what confidentiality is, this is when I can break it, so it's very clear.
Yeah, that's good. So you'll always be like open about like, I need to tell someone this, or like, this is one of them situations.
Yeah, if it's needed, I think it's important to understand the boundaries within the role, and I think the boundaries can also make people feel that there's trust and respect. I think as well, like we're speaking about confidentiality and its limitations, but also it means that I won't, like, for everything else that's not those things, no one else will know. As well, which is going to be what most things, maybe all things for most people. As well, and obviously there's also the obligation, for example, any data that we store online has to be stored securely on a secure software base. Anything we store on paper has to be locked away. And account as well, that those are the standards within. So there's also that side of it as well, that we hold all the information securely.
That's really good. I think I had a question, like.
That's fine. I think I have one. I think there's something called supervision within our field, which maybe some clients may not know about. But the supervision is sort of good ethical practice where counsellors like myself, well, all counsellors really have to go to, and it's a way of making sure how your practicing is ethical, making sure your practicing is safe, maybe insight into what's going on. How I go when I go to supervision, how all the counsellors I know have gone as well, is we will present a client and not share their full details. So they're not identifiable. So I might present a client under a different name and express, this is what's going on for this person, they are this, what am I doing in the work? Is it okay? Is it in that sense? And it's, I think it's a good thing to have within the profession, because it ensures that you're working ethically, that the client will always come first, and that everything's safe. And again, that's something I put in my contract, and we talk about number 5 at the start, that this is part of the work. Your details will never be shared. They'll never be able to identify you. But it is part of, I think, the confidentiality conversation, and important to know. How does that sit with you?
Quite well, to be honest. I mean, I think that, like, supervision, well, I have some experience myself, like, having some supervision, and I think that, like, nobody's perfect. Even if you're a counsellor and you've had all this training, like, sometimes you might be, like, biased, or you might not be, like, fully seeing things from, like, another point of view, and, like, I know that, like, supervision can be really useful for another professional to give a contrary point of view about a client and help you, like, help that person a bit better and, like, get an alternative point of view. Especially, I don't know. I was going to say something else, but, like,
I think it's really valuable what you said. This idea of perhaps another opinion to maybe check what you're doing. The idea of support as well. I think in any sort of helping profession, to be able to be the best you to help others and to be, like, good enough for the client, to have support is another valuable thing as well.
Especially since, like, I had a counsellor who was, like, she was, like, an older lady. She didn't really understand, like, Facebook. she also, like, if I ever talked about, like, my romantic life, like, she assumed that I was, like, straight and that it was with a boyfriend. So, like, I don't know, for me, like, as a young person, if I knew, like, that she had, like, supervision, or, like, she got to, like, maybe talk to other professionals, that she was getting another point of view, that, like, I think that actually would have been very comforting for me, like,
I think that's an example where supervision can be useful. As people, we obviously make our assumptions and our prejudice, or whatever we may think of the situation, taking that somewhere else, confidentially, can give a
it's actually
more accurate opinion.
I think it's actually, like, super necessary to the like, practice of, like, counselling.
I think you mentioned earlier counsel not being perfect. Of course, they're humans. We are humans. But just that idea, I think, of trying to press for higher standards in work is important and necessary.
I think there's always that. I don't know. I think people are just generally. No one can like. What's that? There's like a saying that's like no man can be an island or something. Like no one can be like completely isolated and like completely like rely on themselves and like by themselves. Like we need other people to get better, work better.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's part of what counselling is, isn't it?
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
We need other people.
Yeah.
I think I've said everything I could think of on confidentiality. Is there anything that I may have missed that you may be wondering?
I don't know if a case study like might be put things into perspective a little bit. Like if I said, for example, I don't know now.
I've written case studies before for different studies, and I've recorded clients as well. So for example, to record a client, you need to get a separate recording consent. So I would always get that first, and then how you record as well. You can't just record on your phone. You have to record on one of those recording devices, the separate ones, which you can then upload and transcribe. They're also in the recording consent. There is an agreement of what date you have to destroy it by, and you agree that before. Wow. So maybe 8 weeks, 12 weeks, but you agree on the date. I think there is a time limit. I can't remember the exact one, but you make sure it's within that. And then when I have written about a client, I've changed their name. So I don't, or I've used like an initial like B was etc. And then and then you submit your work. But that is another way. I think also this has made me think of client notes.
Okay.
Confidentiality. Some therapists keep client notes. Clients have their right, if they want to access them, they can ask. That's their right.
Is that no matter like what age you are? Is it like an age limit on it?
Oh, cool. Client's right. Any information that is held on them is their right to know. I think sometimes, depending on how long you've been seeing a client, it might take a bit of a time to get those notes to them. So maybe time-wise, it might be a little bit of a wait. But if they would like to request it, clients can request it.
Okay. What if it's like years later? Like, would you be able to go back to the service and be like, "Hi, can I see any notes that you have on me?" Or...
I think with the GDPR policy, I think it's 7 years we can hold. Services can hold information for practitioners, and I think after that they have to destroy it. I think I can't remember if that's the right number, but 7 years is coming to mind. So I think if it's within that and the therapist still has it, then you still have the right to access it. Or the agency has it, still have the right. I think if it's after that, potentially could be destroyed. So I wouldn't know. No. And then you couldn't get it if it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, sure. That's really interesting.
We've talked a lot about what confidentiality maybe isn't, or how we break it, but we haven't actually gone, this is what confidentiality is.
Okay.
That's true.
I'm just thinking, if you're someone who's watching this and you have no idea what confidentiality is, we've told them that everything that's not, what's not gone. Confidentiality is that no one outside will know that you're having counselling type of thing.
At uni, whenever like I did like a reflective essay, like it was always like the first paragraph was like, "This is what confidentiality is."
No, fair. But we can have this and then have it at the start of the video, and then do everything else. Okay.
I guess like you said, like no one needs to know that you're having counselling.
Well, that's part of the confidentiality at number 5. So I'm just thinking what our policy is.
Yeah.
It's going on our website, so start with maybe what our policy, like our clinics to start, what our confidentiality policy is like. So you could ask what does confidentiality look like at number 5.
Yeah, because that's quite interesting. Because I had like a different experience, like of being at school, and I had to get, they had to get my parents' permission for me to have counselling, and I was like, I'm getting counselling because of my parents.
I think that's why my initial response at school's a bit different in their policies, a bit more individual. So I definitely couldn't give a blanket statement for all schools. I think if you ask something like, what's confidential like at number 5, that question I asked after the start, I think works well, because then I asked you what was your experience of confidentiality.
Sure.
So I think it still flows well.
Okay.
Now let me just think about what confidentiality is. Number 5 in the rules.
Well, I guess.
You got it. Oh, wonderful.
I think it can be like, yeah, it can be quite embarrassing, like knowing that.
I'll pause it.